I'm going to ask the first question. I'd like for you to describe the crime that you committed.
I physically assaulted the mother of my child, which is my victim, and I instilled fear into her, into forcing her to do a sexual act that she shouldn't have did.
Okay. Would you like to add any details to that?
No.
I want to let you know that we have a victim who'd like to speak today.
Okay.
While they're speaking, it is not a time for you to participate. You can listen in, but it won't be a time, again, for you to participate.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Heather.
Okay. That's okay. Tasia, we are going to promote you to a panelist. Once you've accepted that, you will be able to unmute. You can leave your camera off or turn it on when you share your statement. Awesome. So go ahead, Tasia, and begin to share your statement whenever you're ready.
Okay. I do not have anything written this time around. I planned to, but it honestly was making me so physically sick, even thinking about writing the letter, that I even had to leave work early a few times this past 2 weeks just thinking about it. So I'm just going to talk from off the top of my head. I've dealt with this for the last almost 10 years, however long it's been. And it's not something that's ever going to go away. This person has given me more trauma than just that one night. I'm still unable to drive on the highways by myself. I have panic attacks. I get pale. I almost pass out because of the many times that he would speed around with me in the car to scare me, or when he was angry. I still have flashbacks. I still have nightmares. Every year when September comes around, my body tries to reject what happened to me. And I disassociate. I have this dissociative disorder. And every time around this year, I start to remember. And because I start to remember, I try to fight it, which is why I did not write a letter. I am accomplishing many things in my life right now with work and my daughters and myself. And even doing that, this has still been a huge problem for me. It's not only affected me, it's affected my daughter. It's affected my family. It's affected my friends that have been there for me since this happened. I feel like the only time I could breathe was when he went back to jail that night. And even dealing with the problems that I'm dealing with, that's the only time that I feel safe. I do not feel safe if he is out. My family doesn't feel safe for me. My friends don't feel safe for me. I feel like the only thing I've thought about is when he's going to be released. And I've tried to not let it stop me from living my life. But that is all that I've thought about. And the closer that it gets, I do not know how to handle it. He is not a safe person to be around. He should not be around kids. He should not be around me. Nothing about him can change. He is a master manipulator. He lies to get what he wants. He lies to get out of things. He knows exactly what he did to me, not just that night, but for all those years. He knows exactly what he did to the other girl. He knows exactly what kind of person he is, and his family and his friends and everyone around him know exactly the person that he is. And I feel like I've spent the last few years of my life thinking of how I am going to prepare to keep myself safe for when he's released. And I shouldn't have to think that. And I shouldn't have to be scared to go to work or to leave my house or to post on social media or be seen in person if he is out. this is already something that I'm going to deal with for the rest of my life. And I don't think that I should have to deal with him being released, especially in Davenport. I feel like that would completely set me back on how far that I've come with accepting that this happened. And I don't think it's fair for me or my children to see me go through that and feel those feelings while trying to be a mom and trying to live my life. Sorry. I think that he will get out and he will do the same exact things. When I did my letter last time, there were a few things that he said that just made me know right away that nothing about him has changed. He brought up my daughter and seeing her and teaching her, not the exact words, but something along the lines of teaching her to never be with someone like her. And she doesn't need to learn that from him. I can teach her that. And I would never let something like that happen to her. And I would do anything in the world to protect her and myself this time around, because I cannot go through something like this again. He cannot be in my life. He cannot be in her life. He cannot be in anyone around me, no one's life. And then there was another thing that he said. I think they asked him if there was anything that may have caused him to do what he did to me. And he brought up drinking and marijuana and meth, and none of that was true. That none of that caused him to do what he did to me. He did what he did to me because he chose to, because he made a conscious decision, not only all those other times to abuse me, but specifically that night to trick me into thinking I was going to do his hair for him and trapping me in the bathroom and choking me and putting me on the ground and threatening to kill me and raping me. That was a choice that he made, and that was a choice that he made. And I'm not the first person he's done that to. And I won't be the last if he gets out.
Thank you for your statement, Tasha. Was there anything else?
Yes, I will be if he is getting released. I do 100% fear for my life, and I want to let you know I will be going back and getting whatever protective orders I can, no matter what, because I feel like that's how serious this matter is. I can't have anything happen to me or my girls.
All right, thank you. We appreciate your participation today.
Tasia, is there anything else you want to say? Or are you ready to sit back and just watch and listen?
I think I've said it. He's a dangerous person. If I was trapped, anyone, me in the world, me, myself, my kids, any random women were trapped in a room with a bear or him, I would tell everyone to choose the bear. And that's all that I have to say.
All right.
Thank you for sharing. We are going to go ahead and promote you back to an attendee, and you can continue to watch and listen. But thank you a lot, Tasha, for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So, Mr. Reed, do you have a response, keeping it directed to the board?
I mean, there's nothing I can do or say anything to change the situation or go back in the future and do something differently. But I just want to say that I am extremely apologetic. I do feel remorse. I have to deal with the same thing every day that I sit in prison, because I not only messed up her life, which I did, I messed up my daughter's life, I messed up my life and my family's life. So there's nothing I can say or do to make anything better than what it is right now. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I am extremely apologetic, and I do feel a lot of remorse about the situation that is at hand right now. And I mean, it's not really much I can say. You know, I don't think it's gonna change anything. I don't think it's gonna change the way she feels. It all I can do is better myself as a man and go out into the world and prove not only to myself but everyone else that that's not me. That's who I was then. I'm older now. I'm not the same person that I was before with this careless intention or not caring about anybody else besides myself. So all I can do is hope that I can get a chance at light and be able to show you guys that I'm able to do what I'm supposed to do as a man. That prison is for you to rehabilitate, and I feel like I've done everything to rehabilitate. I've done treatments. I've taken classes that I had no business taking. I just take it so that I can better myself, so that when I get into the world, I'm able to integrate into the society as the person that I should have been from the very beginning. So that's what I have to say for that.
Thank you. It's a yes or no question.
Yeah.
Is her description of what you did to her accurate?
Yes. I
Thank
take
you.
full responsibility and I take accountability for my actions.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm going to move to my colleagues now,
okay.
see if they have questions. Meredith?
Yeah, I only have a couple questions for you, Mr. Reed. My first one is I saw after the work release that you're thinking of moving with some family in Illinois. Is that accurate?
Eventually, that was my first plan, but I understand that I have someone that really fears me in the world. You know what I mean? And I don't want that for nobody. So I really do not want to go to the halfway house in the Quad Cities. I'd rather be further away so no one has to, or she doesn't have to deal with knowing that I'm in the world. You know what I mean? So eventually, if I do have to go to the Quad Cities, I want to be in there in the halfway house and eventually save up some money so I can go as far as away as possible. So no one has to, she doesn't have to go through that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I discharge in 7 months.
So is that still your plan to go to Illinois, or were you thinking somewhere else?
Yeah, I was thinking somewhere else. I have a grandfather that stays in Texas right now. So I think once I get done with the halfway house in Davenport, I might go to Texas.
What caused you to want to change your plan and to leave Iowa? Because last time when we talked to you, it sounded like you really wanted to double down on staying in Davenport and pursuing contact with your daughter.
Yeah, I want to pursue contact with my daughter, but I can do that through a court and then I can also move away. You know what I mean? I never wanted to stay in Davenport. I really didn't want to go back to Davenport. I tried to go to Fort Dodge or Fort Des Moines halfway house a while ago and it wasn't approved.
You wanted to go to Des Moines?
Yeah, I think it was Fort Des Moines,
Yeah.
Fort Dodge.
There's Fort Dodge and Des Moines, but the work release in Des Moines is called Fort Des Moines.
Okay.
So
All right.
what made you think that Des Moines would be better for you?
I just, like I said, I don't want that burden on her. You know what I mean? I want to be as far away as possible so she doesn't have to feel like she's unsafe. I'm trying to better myself too at the same time. I'm trying to go somewhere, start out new.
Do you know anybody in Des Moines, or would it be purposely to get away from
Just
people in
get away.
Davenport? Who do you have as a support system for you?
I have my whole entire family. I have some friends.
Where do they live?
My family right now recently just moved to Schaumburg, Illinois, and then I have family in the Quad Cities.
So if you did go through whichever work release you end up going through and then go to Texas, what
Yeah.
are your plans there? What do you think you'd want to do for work or education or anything like that?
I plan on working full time, so whatever I can't say everyone has a goal when they get out of prison, or everybody has a plan when they get out of prison. I want my plan to be what it is when I get out. So I plan on working full time, and hopefully eventually I can, if I move to Texas, I can find a job out there and work full time.
Is it just your grandpa out there, or do you have other family?
I have grandpa down there, but I have other family members. I just haven't met them yet. I just know my grandpa's out there.
I think those were all the questions I had for you to start with, so thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you. Jesse, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Reed. My name is Jesse. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Well, you were in Tech Connect but didn't complete. What was the reason for that?
I think when I was doing it, I just got from the last parole hearing. I think I don't know. I think it was a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? So I felt like it wasn't really helping me do anything. And then it was taking forever to get into certain programs. So then I just disconnected myself.
So were you a little bit down after the last parole hearing?
Yeah.
What have you come to terms with now that you think back?
I mean, I'm better now. I still have the same mindset of being a little bit down from the last parole hearing, but I feel like I'm better now.
So what if you're rejected today? How you
I
gonna
mean,
handle
yeah, I can't be mad. I can't be upset. I can't do anything because it's not in my power to give me a release. It's not in my power to give me a release. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really. I don't know. I think I'll be a little bit down, but I think I come in here prepared for the worst. You know what I mean? So I think I can handle it. All right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What was the biggest eye opener for you in SOTP?
The biggest eye opener was how I was as a person when I was out. So going back and reflecting on my previous relationship with not only my victim but myself, and how my relationship with myself wasn't healthy. I was toxic, not only for the people around me but for myself. So that was a big eye opener for me when I was in treatment.
How are you toxic?
Didn't care about anyone but myself. I didn't think before reacting. My schemas and my cognitive distortions were negative ones. They weren't something that I felt like I needed to work on. I felt like I can handle things on my own, and nothing that can be fixed can be fixed. And I felt like if I did something this way, it'd be better than the way that it should have been done. So I thought before everything was on my terms.
At what age do you think you started acting out in a negative way?
I think at a very young age, a super young age. I was probably still a kid.
Do you remember any incidents?
Yeah, in school, I used to get suspended from school all the time, in-school suspensions. I used to fight or beat up all the kids in my neighborhood. I used to do a bunch of violent stuff.
What do you think stemmed from that?
I think it's just my childhood and how I grew up and how I was raised. I used to see a bunch of violent stuff in the neighborhood and being at home.
Was you at any point gang involved?
Yeah.
With who?
You said with who? I was
Yes.
a neighborhood gang, yeah.
What was the name of them?
It's called Zone Fifth in the Quad Cities, and then when I was in Peoria, it's called Bomb Squad.
Okay. I appreciate you answering the question I had. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Meredith, do you have any follow-up?
No, but I think, well, I do actually. I think before we go into our deliberation, I want to ask Chelsea about the diversion and her thoughts, but we can let him give his statement.
That's a good
So
question.
no other questions?
No other questions.
Okay, so, Mr. Reed, we want to talk to your counselor for you want to do that first, right? Or do you want to wait?
Yeah,
till
let's
he's
do
done?
that first
Yeah.
because then he can address anything.
Yeah.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
would you mind just giving us a rundown? Have you requested a diversion, or what are your thoughts on diverting him to the 5th?
So I inherited Mr. Reed on my caseload from another counselor, and I think that the previous counselor had reached out and asked for the diversion, and it was denied because, like the lack of family support, essentially in the fifth. He said his family's out of Davenport. I know here, like, I would be in support of him for the diversion. I think it's for the appropriate reasons. And I think just from seeing him here, I think that he has a good work ethic. So he really wants to get out and work hard. So I think it's just the issue of the district accepting him.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. I think with hearing that you think he could be successful there and combined with the victim's concerns, it might be something we could help with. So
Yeah.
thank you for answering those questions.
All right, thank you, Chelsea. So Mr. Reed, now's your opportunity to share with us anything further you'd like for us to know today.
I pretty much covered everything I had to say.
All right, thank you, sir. So we're going to go into deliberation where you're going to see us and hear us, but it won't be a time for you to participate. Once we have the decision, I'll come back, I'll deliver it to you, answer any questions you might have, and that'll conclude today's interview.
I appreciate it.
Colleagues?
Yeah, I can go first. I'm gonna go ahead and support this release. His TDD is early next year and he's completed treatment. And, once somebody's completed treatment, it's best for them to get out in the community and get engaged in that aftercare programming. So he'll have those 7 months at the end of this sentence and then go out onto his special. I think, so what I'm going to do is the parole with the 10B for the work release, the no early discharge, and the 40A, the SOTP aftercare, and the substance abuse treatment, and then the 50A. And then what I'm going to do here in the 40A is recommend to start with the GPS. I think we should pursue advocating for that diversion for him for the 5th. I think that takes into account, what he would like to do and the victim's concerns. But having that GPS there in case that diversion does not go through helps alleviate some of those concerns for her as well. So that's my recommendation. Those are my thoughts.
All right, and I want to make sure I understood that you wanted to include the GPS in the 40A.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Jesse?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo everything Meredith said. I agree with the DOC recommendations. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I too am going to support the recommendation. He only has 7 months left, and I think it's appropriate for us to see how things are going to go underneath another level of supervision. And then also he's talking about leaving from there. So I also think that diversion is very appropriate, having him stay in this area and then go from here to Texas if that's his plan. So I'll go ahead and deliver our decision. Mr. Reed, you were able to hear our conversation, and we're going to support the department's recommendation today. Your TDD is coming up very quickly. You mentioned that yourself. We had also noticed that. You did express remorse. You said you're not the same person with the careless intention. And that is what we're hoping after having completed treatment, that's where you are. But we still believe that a level of supervision is very appropriate. So we would be taking the department's recommendation to move you into work release. However, we would like to see work release here at Fort Des Moines, rather than on the eastern side of Iowa in the Davenport area. So we are going to pursue that diversion for you. Mm-hmm. And in addition, a 20B means that there'll be no early discharge of your sentence. You will remain on paper for the burg and the assault until May 18th of 2025. At that point, you will go to your special sentence, which is a 10-year special sentence. So you still will remain under some type of supervision.
Okay.
In addition to that, we want you to engage in substance abuse treatment, get a baseline of where you are, and engage in any type of treatment that's requested of you. Also, SOTP aftercare to continue down that road of understanding your cognitive distortions and your risk factors and what that looks like for your stability. And lastly, we're looking at a 50A. That means that you will not frequent any establishment that's primary activity is the sale of alcohol. So that would include liquor stores, neighborhood bars where they don't serve food. And also you are not to partake in any alcohol whatsoever.
Okay.
Is all of this clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So do you have any other questions? Do you have questions?
No, thank you.
All right, sir. Go out and do what you say you're going to do.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
You too.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Yeah. So what Richard pointed out in this case is that when you actually look what he's locked up for, they have him in for second-degree burglary, which it's just, you know, he has in the notes, it's disgusting how many essays that these DAs dismiss. I mean, what he did, let's read through what he did in this parole hearing. It was, you know, you could see, this was just me, but I could feel his narcissism driving through the screen. His ex-girlfriend, the victim, the survivor, leaves this, you know, mic drop statement, which the board is like callously like, oh yeah, anything else you want to say? And she leaves with, yeah, if I was left in a room and I had to choose between him and a beer, I'd pick the beer. Mic drop. She painted a picture. That was, and at the end of it, what's he say? His words are, nothing I can say to do to make things better. Not much I can say. It won't change anything. I can't go back in the future. Like, ugh. You know, this wasn't his first parole hearing, as you heard. He has had practice. This was a better version. This was the best version of himself. And they said, well, he has 6 months left, so we want to give him practice for supervision. It's like they always make up these things for reasons why they should give parole that make no sense. Iowa's really weird. It's like, who cares about what the victim thinks? We want to give you practice for supervision. He also took programs, so they're funny. Oh man, if you watch enough of these Iowa parole hearings, you'd get my ugh. So here's what he's arrested on. And 21-year-old man, and we'll go over his prison record, his arrest record after. But is in jail after police say he essayed abused a victim while threatening her life. On Friday, September 1st, police were called to her residence after they received a report of essay. According to police, the victim was in 21-year-old Reed's bedroom when he made unwanted advances. Police say the victim told Reed to stop when he grabbed her by the neck and walked towards the bathroom walk-in closet and threatened the victim's life while doing so. Police say Reed then forced the victim into acts. He threatened to kill her if she would not stop crying. The victim had bruising and scrapes along her neck, also had a cut on her thigh. According to police, Reed admitted to engaging in the activity with the victim but denied it was forceful. Reed is being charged with second-degree SA, a felony following the incident. Police said Reed is also pending an unrelated charge of second-degree burglary, third-degree SA. Reed also has prior protection order violating involving another victim. And with all that, they let him drop it to just burglary. Okay. Now let's go through his record. Let's go through his record. His good time was 2025, 5/18/2025. He was incarcerated for 2019, since 2019. Okay, so arrested in 2015 for trespassing, dismissed. Arrested for 8/2016 for going through red light. When you're arrested for that, that there are always more. You don't, you don't just get arrested. I have plenty of moving violations in my day. I never got cuffed. Okay. Arrested on 9/3/2016. Speeding. He had a bench trial and he was found guilty. It's always interesting. I've always wondered, I've gotten a few tickets in my day that I was like, it's not true. The cop's lying. And I've you get there and then they say, oh, we'll plead it down to parking on a pavement, pay $300. And it's like, I know that what I did not do anything wrong. But, it's funny. They'll give you a trial for that. But they don't want to do a trial for serious crimes against children. All right. Arrested on 12/2/2016, failure to obey a traffic control device. Also a bench trial. And no, that's not the same offense. It's another offense 4 months later. 3 months later, actually. 3 months later. Arrested on 12/2/20. Okay, that's the same. Then arrested on 1/18/2017. Failure to provide financial liability, and he had an accident. That's great. I love when people crash into you without insurance. I recently was crashed into, by the way, by someone who didn't have insurance. I told you guys a story. It happened like a year ago. And then I bought a dash cam the second that happened. But, okay. Arrested on 2/22/2017. False report. Arrested on 5/9/2017. Drag racing. Why not? Also reckless driving. Arrested and failure to maintain control. Arrested on 5/9/2017. Speeding. Arrested on 8/28/2017. Violation of a protective order. They finally gave him 10 days jail, but suspended after 7. So he spent 3 days in jail. Wouldn't surprise me if those 3 days were Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Count 2 violation of protection order, which he had a bench trial for. Sentenced. Can you imagine? You make the court send you to a bench trial, and they give you a 10-day sentence. Count 3 violation of a protective order on 10/4/2017. So he's violated a protection order, I think, 4 times. And also a bench trial. And what did they give him? So here they gave him 480 days in jail, but all suspended except for 45 days. Another violation of a protection order, 5/2/2018. I don't know if those are redundant or not. Sorry. Now, arrested on 10/4/2017, sentenced to prison for 10 years. This is the current crime. They call it burglary. Count 2 is stalking, violation of a protective order, prison 5 years, suspended, blah, blah, blah. And count 3, there is SA abuse on 8/26/2017, but they dismissed it. They dismissed the SA abuse charge. Can you imagine? So he doesn't need to have it in his jacket, but Sir Richard catches this stuff. And to their parole board's credit, they mentioned that. Arrested on 9/22/2018, the SA. Yeah. So a year later, he has another SA charge. So he has back-to-back. I think that's what she was talking about, having other people with it. Assault with intent to commit SA on 1/18/2019. Violation of protective order. It's pretty crazy. She was granted exclusive custody of her child. Thank God. And then there's 10/3/2018, another violation of a protective order. So a month after that, he's violated, I think, protection order 5 or 6 times, according to Richard's records. But he's a good guy. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. I mean, there was not much the parole board could do. He had 6 months more left to serve, but I would have argued in this case it's a pretty easy answer. It's deny, teach the guy, teach him a lesson, or if anything, just give it to the victim what the victim wanted, which the survivor wanted. But they make up excuses to grant parole. And what can you do? So anyways, that's it. And with that, I'll let you go.
Yeah, he's a dangerous person. If I was trapped, anyone, me in the world, me, myself, my kids, any random women were trapped in a room with a bear or him, I would tell everyone to choose the bear. And that's all that I have to say.